Hey you guys. Sorry we had a little hiccup because he didn't make me an admin, so I was locked out. But we're good. So I'm going to give it a minute. Give me some hearts if you're on so I can make sure you guys can see me and hear me. Can you hear me? I see someone. Okay. Well, okay. I see me in the group. So we'll get rolling. All right. I'm excited. Josh asked me to talk. I saw that post. I saw the post that he did where he's like, do you guys have something specific or blah, blah. And there was like a million questions all over the map. And so I text Josh and I'm like, so what are you thinking you want me to talk about? Because there's basically everything under the sun in that comment thread. And so he narrowed it down to this and figured this would be the most valuable for you guys. So I'm excited. I'm going to talk to you guys, obviously, about converting challengers to coaches, what that looks like, kind of how I go about it, and how you guys can really build a freaking awesome business around this very thing. Okay, so I'm going to preface it with the fact that this has been probably the main way that I've built my business from the beginning. And it's funny, as I was going at our diamond retreat and even like in our coach sneak peeks when my coaches are sharing their stories, so many of my top leaders will say, I just started as a discount coach. And it's like, holy crap, you really did. And so I want you guys to understand that when you're at a place in your business and you're like, I don't have any builders, I don't have anyone that wants this, I don't have anyone that's showing up, I don't have anyone that's motivated. You don't just like automatically get these people who are fired up, motivated, pumped up to change lives, like all these things. It doesn't happen overnight. Lots of that happens through developing your coaches and mentoring them and believing in them and casting that vision of what is possible for them. So if you're sitting at a place in your business where you only have a couple builders or maybe you only have discount coaches, don't discount your discounters because they are people that can develop into freaking awesome coaches and top leaders, okay? So let's dig in, okay? So converting challengers to coaches. First of all, there's just a few things to focus on. First and foremost, in my mind, I can help a lot of people in my challenge groups and I can help them get results and I can help them create some new habits, but the ones that stick with it and the ones that create the lasting habits and continue on their journey are always my challengers that convert to coach. Always. Because what happens when you coach? Well, obviously it's a bigger part of your life. It's a bigger priority. It's a bigger focus. It becomes more important because you have to show up for yourself in order to ever help people. And so I use the term perma-challengers. Coaches are perma-challengers. And so my whole mindset when my challengers are joining a group, it's not, okay, sweet, I'm going to help them for 21 days and then I'm going to let them peace out. My whole mindset is now they're going to be lifers. Now, how can I help my challenger be a lifer? How can I help her create these lasting habits that are going to change her life? And when you have that mindset, you approach your groups completely differently. So I use my challenge groups to mold my next coaches. That is my whole, my whole like motivation in my group is to help them become coaches, because I know that coaching is where you change your life and coaching is where you can have the biggest impact on people. And so the challenge group is kind of just like a filter system to help develop and find the coaches that really want this, really want to change, really want to grow, really want to develop, and then want to pour into others and do the same. So I want you guys to check your mindset first. When it comes to challengers, are you approaching it as I'm going to help her get some results and whatever? Or are you approaching it and then moving on to your next group? Like, is it like a one and done, get them in, hit Success Club, move on to the next group? Or is it I'm getting them in this community that they can ultimately thrive and grow and develop and overcome their limiting beliefs and overcome their own things and excuses that have been holding them back for so long. The group is where the magic happens, okay? That is where they finally are surrounded with people who are encouraging them, are supporting them, are helping them get over themselves, are starting to share, they're posting, they're taking selfies, they're checking in, they're showing up, they're supporting each other, and they're feeling the benefits of pouring into others, and then they're also getting support, so they're feeling that aspect as well. So it's twofold. And so this is how you need to approach your challenge groups, is that this is the springboard into the rest of their journey, into the rest of what lies ahead of them. And so that's the first thing, is check your mindset. And then once your mindset is in the right place, you're going to lead your group differently. You're going to, like I said, you mold your coaches. You're going to help them show up. You're going to set those expectations so that they check in and they know that if they want your support and if they want the best results, they're going to show up in this group, because that's where you are and that's where the energy is and that's where the positivity is. And they start to feed off of that, and they see that that is something that is essential on the journey to health and wellness and happiness, okay? So a couple of the things that I do in my challenge groups to kind of mold them into coaches is I start to give them, I do a PM check-in, okay? So at nighttime, I have a post and it has just a few questions, and lots of the things are encouraging them to do stuff that coaches do. We focus on PD. In the morning, I have like a more value-driven post, whether that's mindset, motivation, a recipe, talking about their morning routine. Like I'm helping them in some way in the morning. And then at nighttime, it's just a check-in. So sometimes I'll say for one of the check-ins, like, go support 5 other challengers in the comment thread. So that is telling them, go be a cheerleader for the people in the group who need support. Or I'll say, what did you read today? What personal development did you do today? And some of them will be like, what's personal development? Well, I'm not reading a book. I need a book focused on this. And then I can give them suggestions and I can let them know. Incorporating PD into my challenge groups has been one of the biggest game changers, because one, if you can't control your mindset and you can't, oh my gosh, you guys, like if you've ever seen my YouTube channel, I preach on PD like it is freaking like the Bible, because it is so essential to a happy life, like for whatever reason. And so as soon as I started incorporating that into my groups, my challengers were like, holy moly, I didn't even realize that I needed this. I didn't even realize that I struggled with this. I didn't even realize that 10 minutes would make such a difference in the way I feel about myself. And so you give them these little feelers of what we do every day as coaches, right? So then when you do have that conversation and you get them on a sneak peek, or you get them on a what is coaching call, and you say, as coaches, we show up for ourselves. We encourage others. We focus on our personal development. What else do we do? And we invite people to join us. That is what we do as coaches. They're going to be like, well, shoot, that's basically what I'm doing, except for inviting other people to join me. And I could probably do that because my friends already asked me about it anyways. And so you're doing these things where you're planting these seeds and you're helping them see, this is what we do in our groups. She just does it on a bigger scale with more people. And so that's been something that has really helped make that conversion process really natural and really simple, because you introduce them to all the things we do as coaches anyway. And then when you do have that conversation with them, then it's like, oh, well, yeah, I might as well do this. You know, I love the community. I love the support. Might as well help some people. I will say the most important thing that you need to help them accomplish, though, or not accomplish, but help them see, is the value in Shakeology. Because in my brain, it doesn't make sense. If I have a challenger that hates Shakeology, I'm probably not going to approach her to start coaching, because hello, that is like such a huge part. So if you can really build value around Shakeology, talk about it, help them learn about it, teach them, post videos and different things that are teaching them about the ingredients that are in it, so they can say, yeah, I feel all this energy. They might equate it to like working out. They might equate it to whatever. But lots of times it has to do with Shakeology. So helping them put 2 and 2 together, I feel awesome. I'm able to walk away from the cookies where before I wasn't. That's Shakeology. That is what's helping you. This is why you need to stay on it. Helping them connect the dots will help retention, will help them see the value in it. And then when you do approach them about coaching and whatever, and I'll go into this in a second, they're going to be like, well, yeah, this just makes sense. So make sure that's something that I didn't do early on, and it made it way harder to convert, because if they didn't, I was posting about working out, I was posting about fitness, but I wasn't really talking much about Shakeology, because I'm like, they'll just know that they feel better and Shakeology is helping them. Well, no, people don't really pay attention and they don't understand it, and they don't take the time to learn about it. And so if you're not understanding what you're drinking, you're probably not going to put the 2 and 2 together. So when I put more emphasis on it and really help my challengers know what they're fueling their bodies with, I got way more challengers who wanted to stay on it. And even when they're like, I can't afford to stay on it, but I love it, that's a simple conversation, okay? So much of this rides on Shakeology and helping them love it. So help your challengers freaking love Shakeology, okay? Now, what do you do once you rock your challenge, they're getting results, they're showing up, they're engaging, then what do you do? So I like to wait till around week 2 or 3. That's kind of like the golden period. And they have a next shipment coming up in about a week. So I check in personally on, like, just in Facebook Messenger, and I just check in with them. I say, hey girl, how are you feeling? Fill me in. So they'll tell me whatever, and I'll say, how are you feeling with Shakeology? Are you loving it? Have you felt the benefits? We'll start chatting about it. And then as soon as they say, I love it, then I just say, well, or even if they say I hate it, I say, well, what are your plans for your next shipment? Because you're set up so that it comes out in about a week. Do you want to modify the flavor? Do you want to keep it the same? Do you need to cancel it? I am not about to like not talk to my people and then hope that it slides so I make another $30 commission. No, please don't ever do that. That is like, ew, don't do that. If they want to cancel, then they want to cancel. All I want to do is keep my people happy. I don't care if I make another $30 off an HD shipment if they hate it. My job is to help them love it though, right? So if they hate it, it's probably because you didn't do all this stuff on the front end. So make sure that you're doing all the value building and helping them find a recipe they love and all of that stuff, okay? So when I'm having that conversation with them, I say, what's your plans for your next shipment? They'll say, oh, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. When they say they want to keep it, then I'm like, well, let's get you hooked up at least with the coach account so that you can save money on your next shipment. Then I will say, have you considered coaching and doing what I do? It's really simple. You have to be intentional about having this conversation. You can't just expect them to come to you. You can't just expect them to know that there's a coach discount. And don't just lead with the discount. Don't be safe and be like, oh, well, let's get you the discount. You'll save money, blah, 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 and call it quits at that. You have to have the conversation. Have you ever considered doing what I do and coaching and helping people? Because most people, especially if they're in your challenge group, they have goals. They probably have a long journey ahead of them. They don't feel confident yet. They don't feel inspiring yet. But that's our job to empower them and help them see, I'm already doing what she's doing. I'm just not getting paid for it. And so you have that conversation, and then you set up, hopefully you've set up a system for your month, like your marketing plan, so that it streamlines right into a sneak peek or something. And if you don't have a sneak peek coming up, I like to plan my sneak peeks right around the third ish weeks of the month so that I can talk to all my challengers about their stuff, roll them right into the sneak peek and invite them to that, and then plug them into the new coach training that starts on the first Monday of the month. So you have a system in place that rolls right into it. If you don't have like a live event coming up or whatever, fine. Make sure that you have some sort of what is coaching call, sneak peek that's kind of ongoing that you can plug people into. Make sure you have something that when you have that conversation and they want more information, you have something to send them, you have something to plug them into, so that it's not just like, oh shoot, well now I can't talk to anyone until we have a live event. Don't do that. Have something that every single day you can be talking to people about coaching and giving them the information whether or not there's a live event going on or not, okay? So that's what I do. I have that conversation, either plug them into a sneak peek or I send them my What is Coaching call. They have questions, we chat, they want to convert, I get them plugged in, okay? So that is my conversion process. Sometimes it takes longer than the first month. Sometimes it's quick. If I have a challenger that's rocking it, I don't necessarily wait till week 2 or 3. If they're killing it, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm loving it, I'm feeling amazing. I will say, dude, you need to coach with me. Like, you would freaking be a rock star. And I don't care if it's 2 days into the challenge. I will have that conversation with them. You have to be confident in what you have to offer them coaching with you on your team, okay? So that's how the converting process works. And then let's move right into the getting them started. So what do I do to get my new coaches started? First of all, I, with my team, have a huge focus and emphasis on PD and on this being a growth journey. So right at the beginning, I'm painting that picture that this is a long haul kind of thing. It's not gonna happen overnight. It's not gonna be easy. We're gonna focus on you. We're gonna grow. We're gonna develop. We're gonna build relationships. We're gonna connect with people. And this is the process that's gonna get you here, wherever you wanna go, whatever their goals are. But I help them see that long-term thing. So it's not like, okay, now I need you to hit Success Club. Now I need you to get to Emerald. I'm not even talking about those things at the beginning. Yes, they're in the training. Yes, I talk to them about it that first month so they know if I want to get my Shakeology covered, I need to help 3 people, which means they're going to hit Success Club, which means, you know what I mean? So those things lead into it, but it's not something I stress at the beginning. It's more about, I want to help my new coaches rock their journey, then know that it is essential that they share it. They need to be sharing their journey. And then I need to make sure that they are building roots. They are meeting our team. They are surrounding themselves with our team culture. They are getting to know the other coaches, because when they feel like they're not in this alone, they're not trying to figure this out. They're not just talking to me. They're talking to all the other coaches. They're surrounded by the support and the positivity. It's going to be a lot harder for them to just throw in the towel and be like, F it, this is not working for me. You know what I mean? So what I do with my new coaches is I get all of my new coaches plugged into a message thread. So I have these message threads based off of rank. So I have a new coach thread. I have a diamond thread, which is my emerald to diamond coaches. And then once they hit diamond, I put them in a 5-star thread. And then I have my superstar thread that has my top leaders. And so as soon as they sign up, they get into this message thread. So they're surrounded by all the new coaches. I welcome them in there. All of the girls are like, yay, welcome. This is going to be awesome, blah, blah, blah. And then that's where they're asking questions. They're plugging in. I'm helping them. They're all on kind of the same level. So it's easier to mentor my coaches in these threads because I can talk to them where they're at in their business. So I'm not just posting in the PS team page a general whatever, but I'm very focused in, okay, this is the last week of the month. What that looks like for my new coaches is going to be different than what that looks like for my coaches who are pushing for diamond, than what that looks like for my coaches who are pushing for 5-star and above. You know what I mean? And so these message threads have been a game changer for the way that I mentor my coaches. So I do that for my new coaches. And then every first and third Monday of the month, I do a new coach challenge. And it's a new coach university. And this is where, so I have, for my new coach training, I have it on a team training site, and it's all self-paced in modules. And so what I do, people were getting lost. They were not checking into the training, they were not doing it, or they were going all in with the business side and they were not checking into the challenge group and they were not working out or sharing their journey. And so I'm like, okay, how do we get this? And so one of my coaches, Jaylyn, she's like, we should do this 2-week thing where it's a challenge and coach training. And I'm like, that's genius. So then I ran with it. So we have this 2-week training. And basically all it is I run it just like I run my challenge group. And I do a morning post that is like a game plan of what they need to focus on that day. And then I do an evening check-in. So it's like, what workout did you do? Take away from the training and whatever else. And so they're getting the two. They better be showing up on their journey, checking in as a challenger, and then it's kind of hand-holding them as they're getting through the first couple modules of the training. And then by the time the 2 weeks is done, if they've checked in and they've stayed engaged, they should have a solid foundation. They should have kind of a routine so that they can then get plugged into my normal challenge that I'm running with all my challengers and continue on with the modules at their own pace. And so that's basically it as far as my new coach startup process. I don't do GSR calls. I do a group GSR call after they're done with a 2-week training, because then at that point they've got some skin in the game. I'm not wasting time with a brand new coach who hasn't done anything yet, will get on the phone with me for an hour and then will continue to not do anything. Like, that's the biggest waste of time ever. So I make sure that they're showing up. They only get on the call if they've graduated from the training, if they've completed it. And then we get on a Zoom, we talk about their questions. By that point, they have questions, they kind of know what's going on. We can then game plan for the next 2 weeks of the month or whatever, and how they're gonna hit Success Club and how they're gonna help their first people and those things. So that's how I start my new coaches, and I just have a very streamlined system. So it is the same with every person. So I sign a new coach, it's wham, bam, 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 bam. I do all the same stuff with each coach. So it makes it really simple. So if you don't have a system in place, you need to, because that's where you're gonna be able to really hone in on what's working, what's not, what you need to tweak, what you need to refine. And it's all about self-evaluating. Like, obviously I do things differently now than how I did things even a few months ago. Like, this new coach university training is something we developed in like March. And so obviously it's constantly evolving. And as a leader, you need to be self-evaluating always. Is this working? Is this not working? Don't beat yourself up if it's not working. Just refine it. Just learn what you need to do, learn what you can do better, and then continue to move forward and make sure that what you're doing is duplicatable so that your downline can take advantage of it. Because that is going to be the fastest way to grow, is to create systems that your coaches can plug into, that their coaches can plug into, that their coaches can plug into, okay? I did see a couple questions. Let me roll up really quick. Does that help you guys? I'm really simple. I'm like super basic in how I run everything. Do you have a PD book that you recommend in your groups? I focused on a couple things. I've done 50 Ways to Yay. That was awesome. I do Miracle Morning. Compound Effect is always good. What are some other? Mastering Your Mean Girl is a great one. I know some of my coaches have done Made to Crave, and they love that one. But yeah, those are my favorites. Do you have an outline you follow for challenge group posts, and do you have an outline for your new coach challenge? Yeah, so my new coach challenge is basically, it's the same every single time. And so I've created morning check-in. So basically, like, my morning game plan is listen to National Wake Up Call, do module 1.1, and then workout, shake, and PD. That's always the third part of your game plan. So I'm just teaching them how to do the vitals, but also how to get through the training. And then my nighttime is just questions about the stuff. And then I'll include like some extra videos. But yeah, so that it just helps them know, okay, as a new coach, what do you need to be doing each day? And that's how I lined it out. But I don't have it outlined. It's just in the tracker. And then for my challenge groups, I don't have an outline for challenge groups. Every Sunday I plan out my posts for the week. And so depending on what I feel like they need, I'll do, like, cause in my questions, I'll say, what do you guys feel like you're struggling with most? Lots of times it's emotional eating or nutrition or knowing what to eat or family recipes. So I take what they are telling me and then I build my posts for the next week based off of what they need. And that, I think, is probably why people stay engaged, is because it's applicable to what they're needing on their journey, okay? So that's how I do it for that. If you have diamonds that have lost their status, what thread or training do you put them in? So I would say every couple months, I kind of rehash the thread. So if people have lost rank, I'll drop them down to the other one. Generally that doesn't, I honestly don't have that many diamonds that drop very frequently. Sometimes I'll drop for a week and then they'll get it back. But if there's someone that's dropped for a while, I will drop them back just because the stuff that's going on in the 5-star thread isn't applicable to someone who is currently at 4 coaches in an emerald. They need to be in phase 1, really building, really growing, really doing all that stuff. And that's going to be what my diamond thread's doing. Does that make sense? So it's not because I'm like, oh, you dropped rank, you suck, you're going down. It's because this is where you're going to find the most value. This is going to be the most beneficial for you in what you're doing in your business right now. So I would definitely put them in the one that's getting back to diamond if they've lost rank. I feel like this process would work best in big challenge groups. About how many people do you have in a group each month? I don't do new groups every single month. I do quarterly groups. And so I will start a group and have prep week, and then I plug my challengers in for the next 3 months all into the same group. Because I like the bigger groups. I like more energy. I like more community, and they only get that feel when people are engaging and supporting and showing up. So that's how I do it. To get it, yeah. But I mean, what was the last question? To get a couple coaches out of it, I would at least, you guys need to be helping at least 5 challengers a month if you want to at least convert 2 or 3. How do we get started with creating modules? I would, if you don't have a coach training in place, I would honestly I would plug into something that you already have if you don't have anything whatsoever. Honestly, Beachbody's training in the Coach Online office now is solid. When I was starting, it was awful, terrible. Well, there wasn't one, but then they started to create them, but they were like these 60-day long, boring trainings. Now they're really great. If I was a coach and I didn't have a training in place, I would just utilize what they have in the back office now, to be truthful. That's what I would do. What do you teach in your modules? Basically, our modules, the first 7 days are kind of the basics: personal development, be a perma challenger, power hour, share your story, build relationships, that stuff. The second module is all about social media, just teaching them how to post, different apps, how to clean up your Facebook, how to use Instagram, how to connect with people, how to expand your network, that stuff. Module 3 is Coach Basics, so that's like, what is Emerald? What's Success Club? What are leads? How do you qualify for this? What are the 4 vital behaviors, like the coaching stuff? 4 is Advanced Social Media. 5 is, I don't remember what 5 is. Oh, Emerald. I think it's like Emerald it's like an Emerald training. Help them get to Emerald. And then I have some leadership trainings after that. How do you do the quarterly ones? I'm confused. Are you continually adding new people? Yeah, continually adding new people to the quarterly groups, just plugging them in. So I have all my prep videos on a Google Doc, and as soon as I have a new challenger sign up, I just send them the link to the Google Doc, have them go through the videos, and I plug them right into the challenge group, and they just jump right in. Do you do free groups or paid groups quarterly? I do quarterly paid groups. My free groups I just do randomly. It depends on what's going on. And those are usually really quick, like 5-day groups or something. So, and those aren't always the same. I base them off of all different stuff. So yeah, okay. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to comment and I can roll back around here later and answer those. But hopefully this helps you guys. Honestly, this business is really basic, okay? Keep your business basic. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't stress yourself out. Help people get results and then help them convert to coach, because coaching is where all the magic happens. So that needs to be your end goal for your challengers. And when it is, that helps you approach things differently. It helps you run things differently. It helps you talk to them differently. And that will help you develop these coaches that actually want to do this, because They're loving everything about it, okay? Hope that helps. Okay, talk to you guys later.